What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to show you some super simple tricks on how to adjust and correct white balance in post-processing. Let's get to it. Today we're going to look at some images from Horseshoe Bend out in Arizona. I shot this super wide at 14 millimeters with my Sony a7R IV. And as you can see, the stars are starting to poke in the sky here, and this was essentially just after blue hour, but what happened is my camera made it extremely blue. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna use the dropper to see if we can automatically correct the white balance in this image. So over here on the right, you see this dropper tool. And so what you can essentially do is take the dropper to a neutral area of the sky. And so I typically try to go up around the corner, and as you move the dropper around, take a look at the preview on the left. You can see that the color, you get kind of a rough idea of what the output is going to be. So I'm going to pick somewhere up here in this right corner, and boom, you can see it makes the image look much more natural. And so to further correct this white balance, what I would do is I'd actually bring my exposure up just a bit, and I would pull my shadows up as well, and I was able to maintain enough shadow detail thanks to the low light performance of the Sonys. And as I do a lot, I'm going to pull my vibrance all the way up, and then I'm going to pull my saturation all the way up. And essentially what this does is it over-exaggerates the hues that are present in your scene. So here you can see it looks pretty natural. So we've still got some glow from the sunset, low in the sky, but then up in the northern part, the upper portion of the image, you're starting to get the blues from the evening. So I feel pretty good about this. I may even pull this back just a smidge, but ultimately I feel like the dropper did a great job in this scenario. So this next image is taken in Zion National Park, looking out at the Watchman. And what you can do for this one, again, let's just take a peek at where we're landing currently. So bump the vibrance, bump the saturation. As you can see, there's a lot of yellow in the sky. And so what I typically try to do with my astro shots is get a neutral balance between the yellows and the blues. And so for this one, I'm not going to use the dropper technique, but I'm just going to manually adjust. And so bringing the blues down, and then I often like to bring up my magenta for my night shots just to pull out some of that natural detail from the sky. So let's see where we landed with this. See, that to me already looks much better. So I did adjust my exposure and pumped up my shadows just for the purpose of the shot. But so to look at our before, I'm going to pull these back, and so that was before, and then that was after. So much more natural looking sky for this astro shot. So this next shot was taken just down the street from my house at Canyon Lake in Texas. So for this one, if you look, I pulled up the shadow detail as well as it bumped up our exposure just a bit, because I really wanted to focus in on this foreground and particularly this agave here, and it is very blue, right? And so I'm already predicting that this shot is going to be more towards the cool side, but for this one, let's try the dropper technique and see where we land. So on my preview, you can already see it's going to warm this image up a ton, so I'm pulling that corner, and for me, I'm much more of a warm hues kind of gal, so I already like this much better. And so if you see our before, that was before, and then that was after. So for me, this feels much more like the actual scene did. It was very warm, colors fading into the twilight. So, and I also really like it pulling out more of the natural greens from the agave here. All right, folks, there you have it. A super simple way to adjust your white balance in post. I oftentimes don't set my white balance manually in camera, but the beauty of shooting raw is that you can always correct this in post-processing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, or better yet, I would always appreciate a subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.